I audited more than 25 manufacturing and industrial websites. I discovered 10 critical issues appearing on 90% of them. Today, I'm revealing all of them, plus 6 quick fixes that could transform your results starting this week. Here are the 10 critical issues impacting 90% of B2B websites after looking at more than 25 different websites in these categories. The research behind this analysis, I looked at 25 sites, looking specifically in the manufacturing, distribution, and industrial. These 10 recurring issues were found on almost every single site. And lastly, I'll go through 6 quick win opportunities that nearly every site can implement in 30 days or less to start benefiting from these changes. Issue number 1 was poor meta title and meta description optimization. The most common problems would be using generic titles like something like cylinders, if you had hydraulic cylinders or something like that. And the example was for a hydraulic cylinders page here. And SKU numbers were also used as primary elements, keywords buried deep in the title, and missing meta descriptions as well in many cases. The fix and the way to implement this cleanly would be to put the primary keyword first or furthest to the left in your title, and make sure that as you're using and optimizing titles and descriptions to write conversion-focused descriptions that would lead somebody to click on your results. An example title would be something like hydraulic cylinders that is more specifically optimized for the keyword or phrase you want to rank for instead of something like cylinders or hydraulics. Issue number 2, missing on-page content. And this is one of the most prevalent issues on almost every single website I see. What most sites have would be a product grid on a category or collection style page with no supporting content, no educational material, and no FAQ section at the bottom. And the reason why FAQ sections are so important is because this helps specifically with ranking in AI. Now I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. The structure for optimizing this correctly on your page would be brief intro content above your product grid on a collection or category style page, then your product grid or listings, then additional detailed content, depending on the topic and the category you're ranking for, and then an FAQ section marked up with structured data or schema. Issue number 3, broken H tag hierarchy. And in many cases, the way I saw this set up was skipping levels with the H tags on a site. So we'd go from H1, H3, H5, and you're missing H2 and H4, for example. Another wrong example of this was having multiple H1s on a page or using the same keyword in H1 and H2. So lots of different issues of this being done incorrectly. And H1 is generally going to be a primary topic or the main topic of a page. H2s would be subtopics, and then H3s would be sub-subtopics. So if you had content, you have your primary topic listed once, subtopic, and then a sub-subtopic. And then as you get done defining all of the information within this H2, this subtopic, then you can go to another subtopic and work these through on your site in your content in sequential order. And then secondly here, for multiple H1s, generally what you would want to do is have one H1 per page. It makes it easier for you to define what that page is about and makes it easier for you to optimize that page for that primary key phrase without focusing on multiple likely competitive keywords or phrases on the same page. Issue number 4, missing structured data. This can happen in a lot of different places. The most common generally will be product schema or FAQ schema. And I've talked about this numerous times. The importance of the FAQ schema, especially for AI rankings. And the reason why this is so important and how this helps is it makes it very easy for search and AI algorithms to understand the questions and the content you have on your site and then the answers. And a lot of large language models, the way it's structured is question answer formatted topics. And a lot of what is asked within large language models and even in organic search is a question-based search. So fulfilling those needs for a visitor or for a potential customer of yours is something that's going to make it easier for you to rank. And then if you have a local presence, a local business markup is something that can help you with local rankings as well. Issue number 5, keyword cannibalization. And this is something that I mentioned very briefly here with the multiple H1s. What keyword cannibalization is when you have a page on your site that is optimized for a keyword, and then you have another page that is optimized for the same keyword or very closely related keyword or phrase. And in one of the examples I did, it was a website that had 10 or more pages, all optimized for, pseudo-optimized, I should say, for the same keyword or phrase. And essentially what happened is they had content on multiple pages about the same topic. And what this does is makes it oftentimes more difficult for you to rank for those keywords and phrases. Now, in general, if you have a website with a lot of content, you're going to have CNC machining. If you're a CNC machining business, you're going to have machining on probably every single page of your site, just about. Same thing here. You might have CNC or CNC machining on multiple pages as well. But if multiple pages are optimized for CNC machining services, which is a different keyword and a different search intent than CNC machining, it's going to likely cause issues with your rankings. What you can do in this case would be to identify conflicts. So find pages that target the same keywords, choose a primary page for that keyword or phrase, and make sure that you have one main page per keyword that you want to rank for, and then handle variations on that page with H2s or H3 sections. And the biggest key here is figuring out and organizing your content in a way that makes sense for your visitors and also for search engines, because at the end of the day, it's a human who's going to be making that purchase decision from you, but we need to make sure that the site is optimized for both algorithms and humans. Number 6, weak internal linking. This is another one that is massively underserved and underused on almost every single site I see. And the reason why this is so important is because this is something you have complete control over, explaining to search engines what content on your site is related to other content and how it works together. And one of the biggest ways you can work on this is linking your product categories together, linking your applications to your products, and linking your educational content both to and from your commercial content. And the target generally would depend on how much content you have on each page. But if you can add in 3 to 5 contextual internal links per page, that is a great start. And what contextual means is within the content of your article or of your website. So as you have information about a topic, chances are you can explain how this relates to an informational article on your site, or how this relates to or is specific for a product you have, or is from a product category. And working these in, again, makes it easier for your site to be understood by search engines, what pages are relevant to the page you're on, and makes it easier for you to rank them as well. Issue number 7, missing industry-specific content. This one is huge, especially for a lot of B2B websites and a lot of industries, is working to add in how your product or your business works specifically within different sectors. How do your hydraulic systems work? How do your hydraulic systems benefit aerospace applications? Or how do your heavy duty solutions work for the industrial industry? Or what marine grade bearings do you have, or whatever? You get the point. The value here is somebody in any of these specific industries looking for what you provide automatically assume and understand that you know what you're talking about and you can help them with their problem. This is something that can help you drive specific targeted traffic and also high quality, high value leads. Issue number 8, no FAQ sections. So I talked about this briefly, and I'll mention it again because this is so important. FAQs are critical for ranking in AI overviews, ChatGPT, and capturing long tail question queries. And the way to set this up would be to use questions as your headings, provide immediate answers, and add FAQ schema. Before, when you'd write content, you would talk about a topic and you would ask a question maybe as a heading, and then you would have a little bit more about the topic as the answer, and then eventually get into it. Now it works much better if you have an exact, concise, direct response right after the question. Makes it very easy for algorithms that are now processing billions or trillions of data points every day to look at and decide what makes sense and what you should be ranking for. So setting up your content in this structure is something that makes it easier for you to rank both in organic and in AI. Issue number 9, low domain authority can still win. And one of the biggest factors here is content quality and optimization. In many markets, you're going to be up against massive sites and massively competitive and massively strong sites. And having your content optimized specifically for what you want to rank for, quality style content that is structured correctly, is going to make it easier for you to rank for many B2B keywords, even though you're competing against industry giants. And I've seen cases again, time and time again, where very low DR sites, DR stands for domain rating, very low domain rating or domain authority, whatever you want to call it, sites outrank highly authoritative competitors by making sure that content quality and optimization are set up and structured correctly. Issue number 10, missing bulk or wholesale keywords. If this is part of your business, then having these style keywords and phrases is going to make it easier for you to rank for these, of course, but also make it easier for your high value, high dollar leads to find you and understand again that you can help them. So wholesale intent key phrases would be something like product, wholesale, supplier. Bulk would be bulk quantities, product, manufacturer, direct product, distributor network product. These keywords, again, target high value B2B buyers ready to make large purchases. This is one of the big factors, as well as the industry specific content, that can help you rank nearly immediately for some of these keywords and phrases. The key is figuring out what makes sense, what you want to rank for, and what you best serve in terms of customers and industries, of course. And then do you handle bulk, wholesale? How does that process work for you and your business? And getting all of that content optimized, set up correctly, and avoid cannibalizing yourself with topics that are the exact same on multiple pages. Here's the quick win implementation checklist for what you can look at and what you can work through on your site. And very likely you can implement many of these things in weeks or days and not months. First is fixing title tags, putting the primary keywords first in all your page titles. This is something that you can also use AI to help with, of course, as well. Adding content, 500 to 1,000 words below product grids. I would personally recommend looking at a content writing tool to help with this, to let you know specifically what your competitors are doing and how much content they have on their page for these keywords and phrases. And then you can get an idea as to how much content you need before you go and write 1,000 words of content, if you only need 300 to be in the ballpark of what your competition is doing. And then FAQs, I've talked about this numerous times within the video here. So look back through there and see FAQs are extremely important for you to rank in both organic and AI. Number 4, fix your H tag structure. This is something, depending on your website or content management system, a lot of times making a change within the code is something that can cascade across all pages of the site. So look through and figure out how this is set up and structured on your site, and figure out the best structure for getting this implemented. Number 5, internal linking, adding 3 to 5 contextual links per page. This is more important on pages with a lot of content, but adding links to your products and your most important pages is the most critical part of this process. And then industry pages and also bulk pages, kind of the same process here. Creating content that is application specific and or specifically related to the types of customers you want. Bottom line of all of this, most B2B sites are leaving money on the table with basic optimization issues that are relatively easy to fix. In many cases, what I've seen is a 150 to 300% potential increase opportunity gap between audited sites and top ranking competitors for a lot of keywords and phrases. Quick implementation for these. Most fixes can be done in weeks, not months, and a competitive advantage for you allows you to beat higher authority competitors as long as your site is set up and structured and optimized correctly. Hope you got some value from this video. If you did, subscribe to my channel. I plan to continue posting more videos like this, and I'll see you on the next one.